Hmm. It's giving shade.
It's giving dirty.
It's giving what if.
Hey listeners, before we jump in today, I would like to share a disclaimer. The views and opinions in this podcast episode are 100% strictly my own. They do not reflect any professional organization, business, or board with which I am associated. The content of this podcast is for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is advised. Let's jump in.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of It's Giving What If. It's me, Albs, just hanging out. Today, I have a very, very special guest. Actually, two special guests. As you know, spooky season's over. If you're a true horror lover, if you're a true goblin like me at heart, then it goes on forever. We live in a constant state of horror season, spooky season, and so I thought it would be kind of appropriate to bring on some guests that have some insight into what many people call horror, but it's more real life, I would say, than horror, supernatural. As you know, we did an episode on Lori's podcast, Creepy Cheesemate, talking about aliens, and today we have the awesome Amanda and Rolando of TOPS, or also known as Tulsa Oklahoma Paranormal Studies. Welcome, y'all. How are you?
Good. Thank you so
Really
much for
good.
having us.
Yes, I am just excited. Aliens and ETs and UFOs and all of this is just like so fascinating because, like, me growing up personally, I've always been just terrified. Like, I have a huge fear of being abducted, of just like, just like I think the movie Signs really just like messed me up. Like that one scene where it walks by and that just got me. But my husband is like huge into all of it, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I've always been fascinated with aliens and ghosts. That's primarily what we do is the ghost hunting stuff. Yeah, so it's really exciting. But aliens, I even have like a little alien magic 8 ball on my desk that I keep here at all times.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So tell me a little bit about just like what's been annoying you lately. What's something that's just like getting under your skin that's just bothering you?
Nothing to do with the paranormal, but I'm a Raiders fan, and we just got rid of our head coach that was really getting under my skin, and I am so glad that he's gone.
So are you from California or?
I'm not.
Yeah, I was basically raised in LA, San Fernando Valley, up in the valley.
Okay.
But that's where I became a Raiders fan, and then I got her into it, and we're both big Raiders fans. And yeah, she's right. When you asked me that question earlier, I was like, I already know. Like, I already know what I'm gonna say, but she stole it from me.
I'm sorry.
But I'm with her on that, big time.
Yeah.
So I'm not like a huge sports like fan. So tell me what does that mean? Like, why is that something that's just like so annoying?
Because the coach was awful. He was with the Broncos as a head coach like 10 years ago. And he just royally screwed up the Broncos. They were on track to kind of like do really good. And he traded away their quarterback when he didn't need to and brought in someone else who really sucked. And then he got fired after a season and a half with the Broncos. And so our owner was like, hey, he's probably matured since then. And so he brought him in. And guess what? He's now been fired after a year and a half. The only head coach to do that ever in the history of the NFL. He was terrible at play calling. The players did not rally around him, really. I mean, they did because he was the head coach, but you could tell it was not the vibe.
Yeah, basically he was brought in to be, I don't know if you don't sports, but anyways, he was supposed to be this offensive mastermind, right? Like, scoring a bunch of points, right? And our offense went from like one of the top 10 offenses to like 31st.
Out of
which
32.
Is like, which
32.
is like really bad. Like that's like the last. So yeah, so obviously the owner's like, look, bro, like you're not really doing your job. Like, you're supposed to elevate this team and it's regressing. So that's why they fired him. So that happened Halloween night. So that was cool.
Best Halloween ever.
Man, that's a horror for sure.
Yes.
For him, it was not for us.
That's okay. I'm okay with it. Like I kind of feel bad for him, but at the same time, he's still getting paid. So
Yeah, he's paying millions. Yeah,
Yeah,
millions.
oh, I'm sure. Well, and it's funny because like I grew up in the Bay, and so I grew up with like the 49ers. Never been
Mhm.
into sports, but I just always heard like the Raiders fans went hard. Like I
we
think
always
they like
do.
like
Predator
didn't
Nation.
they boycott? Not boycott. Like didn't they like set things on fire? Like I don't know or something.
When they lost the Super Bowl, yeah. When they lost the Super Bowl, yeah. That was on 2.
Well, when the move
Yeah.
happened, a lot of people were like, "I'm not going to be any fan anymore," because they moved from Oakland to Vegas, and I get that. Like, I can't really fault fans. I'm not the fan police, so whatever. But whenever they moved, there was a lot of protesting, and it was just a lot of politics involved. It was sad. I still wish they were in Oakland, but they're not, and they're always going to be my team. I got 6 Raider tattoos for a reason. So
they're not in Oakland anymore.
they
No, they're
moved
not.
in. They moved in 2020.
2020. They're
first
in
season there.
Vegas now. Las Vegas.
So that tells you how much I know about sports.
It's all right.
So do they still have a team in Oakland?
No.
Mm-mm. Everything's gone. They're even getting rid of the A's too.
They got rid of the A's. They got rid of the Warriors. Like the whole all 3 teams.
Politics got involved, and they didn't want any sports there anymore. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, that I'm happy for you, I guess. I think
Yeah.
So, one thing that's been like hella annoying me is just like scammers and grifters, like people who just take advantage of people.
Yeah.
And like so last episode I kind of like bitched about how our Postmates had stolen our food, whatever. But like this like blows everything out of the water. So I got married on Saturday.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you. And so like the caterer that we were supposed to have was supposed to do our rehearsal dinner. Well, luckily my wedding planner told me ahead of time, like, hey, this person has been ghosting people at their wedding. So I had like about 4 days to actually like 3 days to come up with a backup plan. Well, she ghosted us. She ghosted the rehearsal and the wedding. Stole all our money. Apparently, she booked like 5 weddings on the day of our wedding.
What?
And then there's rumors that she may have snuck away to Hawaii. So,
wow,
no,
that would be really annoying, man.
Shady as fuck. Like I'm pissed at her. Like I want all the bad karma to just come to her because, like, how do you do that to people? Like, there was a bride that literally on the day of her wedding, she just no-showed. I'm like, at least I had days to prepare, but like, I can't imagine on the day of how someone could live with that like guilt on their conscience. Like,
that's awful.
Yeah.
I am so sorry.
no. But listen, I also heard that the last few weddings that she's been doing were terrible. So it's probably, good that she did that. And she, we're hoping to put her on blast. So anyone listening, please avoid Maria's house. The owner is Haley Radko. Shady as fuck, just steals money. Luckily though, I paid with a credit card for the remainder of the balance. So my credit card company stepped in and reimbursed it, but our deposit was through Venmo. So lesson for everyone, if you pay anybody for a service through Venmo, make sure you mark it as a service transaction or whatever, because then they can actually fight that back. But if you do it as a regular one, you can't get your money back. So.
Oh my gosh. And I'm so sorry. My cat is like vying for my attention. So she's meowing in the background. So
I couldn't hear it. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, good.
That sounds good. So,
but that's awful. I'm glad you're able to get some of it back, and it's supposed to be like the happiest day of your life, and for them to take advantage of that is really low. That's really awful.
That's rotten, man. That's terrible.
And I'm like, and you are okay with being like a trash person? Like that's I don't know. No, I'm not. Okay with
terrible.
Yeah, that is terrible.
So one of the games that I like to play is called What If. I just have always been a fan of what if questions. And so that's kind of what inspired this podcast. So I'm going to ask both of you 3 questions, and you can either take turns or answer them both together. So what if all forms of digital technology suddenly cease to function, wiping out our digital archives, communication networks, and financial systems? How would humanity adapt, and what knowledge or cultural aspects would be lost or preserved in this digital blackout?
Well, we just
Oh,
go back
my.
to the 90s.
Yeah, we just
I'm cool with that.
go back to the 90s, man. We lived it. I mean, as a teenager. So
I still got all my CDs and records, so
yeah, we used to
Yeah, that's
record
true.
songs with tapes. Yeah, hidden written notes,
Mhm.
before the
Yeah.
pages. Really, the pages that kind of took it digital, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
So it was before that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cultural. Yeah, that's a good question.
I think
Think
people would
about
just start having like more like concerts. I know that sounds like really weird or like kind of vague, but I feel like music is a huge, I'm taking this as like a music standpoint for whatever reason, but like I feel like music is such a big part of like most people's lives.
Yeah.
I mean, even like for example, when the pandemic was happening, um, it really was awful not to be able to have that outlet to
Yeah.
get together with your friends on a common ground and listen to music, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
I just think about like people who do like payroll and stuff like that have moved over to like a digital platform, or like
Mhm.
record keeping of like clinics and all that. Like, how would that affect everyone if it just got wiped today? Or like even the work y'all do, I don't
That's
know if
true.
like how much of it's digital, but like imagine if like that just got destroyed.
That's true, because anybody could walk in and be like, "Oh, well, you diagnosed me with this. Give me those drugs," and there would be no proof. It
Yeah.
would like everybody would kind of have to start over, and
Yeah.
you'd have to have a handwritten
It had to be-
record at that point. That's
Yeah.
ooh. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, how would that even happen?
It would be chaotic. It would be pure chaos
Yeah.
everywhere.
It's
Because
kinda
then you're looking at military, all the military archives
you're
that we have.
basically taking us back to the Y2K, which, by the way, I was just talking about that earlier with my coworkers at work, how I lived through it. I
Mhm.
remember I was actually partying that night at a club. I don't know which one, but I was like, I think 20 at the time. But it was basically like that. It was the fear of, the 2000, like what's going to happen? 1989, computers won't recognize 2000.
Yeah.
It was just this big mess, man, that happened. And everybody was basically afraid of what you're actually saying.
That's
like everything's
true.
going to collapse, the banks and the electric, like all this stuff is.
Yeah, like I actually knew people that got other money out of their banks and was putting it under their mattresses. I'm not kidding.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old are you? Do you mind me asking?
I'm 37.
Okay, so you're around our age. I'm 40. So you were there. You lived it too.
I was terrified. I just remember like thinking, what is going to happen? Like the world's just gonna fall apart. Like
Yeah.
and it didn't. Like it literally just like went and it flowed over. But there was so much fear, and like all the doomsday preparers were just like, let's do all this, and I don't know. I don't even understand who started that, because it's like obviously people knew that shit wasn't gonna happen, but somebody wanted to start it, and then we seem to believe this person
but you imagine how it would be right now with all technology, all the social media and everything going on. Like, you imagine how that would be right now. It would be horrible.
Yeah.
Because back then there wasn't a whole lot of that. There wasn't.
True.
It wasn't Instagram or Facebook or any of that. It was just you had mail. That's basically it.
Yeah. Think about all these like little TikTokers and like influencers with all the followers that make money off of that. Like they would just be zero. There would be no more avenue for that, which might be good, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, the OnlyFans people are gonna get bankrupt.
Oh no, not OnlyFans. That is actually so true now that you say that, because like, I mean, sex is such a big part of like society, but also like just like these people that have made millions off of like sex work. Wow.
Yeah.
You had to go back to, if you're into that stuff, like
go stand on the corner.
On the corner.
Yeah. And with global warming, that's gonna not work that well. So
yeah, go get yours.
I mean, you really think about that stuff. You're right. Like,
yeah,
it will affect a lot of things.
Yeah, my whole thing would be like, I'd be terrified because we have the alert system now. Like if there's an atomic bomb, or not atomic, well, atomic bomb, but a nuclear weapon, we wouldn't get notified anymore. So with all the stuff going on in the world right now, like that's a scary
Like
thought.
even just natural disasters,
Well, that
like
too.
tornadoes and
Tsunamis.
hurricanes, all that's the tsunamis. Yeah,
Yeah, even tornadoes, especially living here in Oklahoma.
it'd be
Do
rough.
they do so? Like, I guess I didn't live in Oklahoma my whole life. So, like pre-90s, was there always a tornado siren, or what was that like?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
I think it was. I don't know when the technology actually started to.
I don't think they did testing, because I remember distinctly, like once a quarter in school, we would have to do tornado drills, and we would have to
That's right, yeah.
go. What they would have us do is they would sound off the like fire alarm essentially,
Yeah.
and you would have to duck under your desk because your desk was gonna protect you from a freaking tornado. And then
That's
they
true.
moved,
Yeah, that's true.
and then
yeah.
they moved from that into the locker rooms. And so we ended up going to the locker room, and we have to duck and cover into the locker room.
Yeah, because they didn't have tornado shelters back then.
No, well, not the schools.
Not the school.
No.
But, yeah, I don't think they had the tornado siren. That's
No,
a
I
good
don't
question.
think so.
Or if they did, I don't remember. But
So I Googled it real quick, and this may be wrong, but it says that in the 70s, outdoor warning sirens originally designed for use in enemy attack were made available for the use during tornado warnings in around 1970.
so but that was warning, not testing, or is it testing?
Right. Maybe not. I didn't click on that much, but in Britain, no, that was Britain. They did it in the 90s, so Britain may be screwed.
Well, they also don't get as many as we do.
Yeah,
And they call them cyclones, not tornadoes, right?
Oh.
No, the cyclones are hurricanes. Sorry.
Yes.
So the first tornado warning was issued in Oklahoma in 1948, but that doesn't mean it was based on an alarm system. It was probably more like they saw it, and if you made it, you made it, you know?
Yeah.
Paul revered it, came down the street.
On a horse.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. I'm going to look that up later.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's interesting.
TikTok. We have TikTok, so we can still take advantage of it until it's gone.
Yeah.
So, second question. What if time travel were possible, but only in one direction? You could only travel into the future, never back to the past. How would individuals and societies navigate this unidirectional flow of time, and what consequences might arise?
I wouldn't do it, but I would only go back. I wouldn't go forward, but
well, he said forward.
I know.
Forward.
I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I would not want to go forward.
No.
Because if you go forward, that means you can't go back to where you were, right?
Yeah.
So like if you went forward, it's not like you can like do Back to the Future type thing and come back and make millions. So I feel like some people would use it as a humanitarian effort, like if they wanted to know how a war was going on, or like some kind of disease, like is it going to wipe us out? Maybe they can go and like try to stop it, but that wouldn't really make sense.
I mean, I really think people who are like, you know, who are down, like they're really down right now, like, you know, whether it's mentally or financially or whatever you want to be, like they're in a rough spot right now in their life. I think they want to just avoid that.
Use it as an escape.
Yeah, use it as an escape.
Smart.
I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, as far as like, I mean, I would think that'll be the only person that will do that. I mean, I might be wrong, but or you know,
or skip like a hard time in their life.
Or they just, I don't know, maybe they have some kind of disease or something, you know. And you're like, they don't want to live through the.
Well, but to be fair, like they don't have insight into the future. So what if you're like, oh, I have this like disease, and like not to be morbid, but like it does kill them, and they like go in the future and they're dead. Like what would happen?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you're still not gonna suffer through the disease.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You would still have it though at a more advanced stage, right?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I
feel like just based on what we have been saying, I feel like there's more bad, I guess you could say, to come out of that than good. Like if you go backwards, I feel like that would be better, because then you could like stop certain things.
Yeah,
you can change things. You can fix your faults or whatever you've done. But
so,
going forward,
it would take a person to travel back in time to come tell you, who can travel only forward in time, what to do to fix the future.
Oh, yeah,
That's how
that's
it really
true.
works.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty
Well,
good questions you're asking, man, for sure.
I
Hopefully
love
we can
questions
unlock
like
that
that.
one day.
You know, think about this stuff and like, oh, okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Are y'all fans of like horror movies?
I'm big
He
horror
is.
movies. Yeah.
Ironically, I'm not.
I like all movies, man. I'm a movie guy. I'm a movie
Yeah.
guy. I consider myself pretty good at knowing movies. So what you got? What
I
you got
don't.
for
I'm
me?
not. Ironically, I do not like being scared.
Have you seen that new movie on Amazon? It's called Totally Killer.
I have not.
So it's about time travel, and it's actually
Okay.
really freaking good with the girl from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the series. So Christian, or I can't remember. I can't say her name, but she's the one from the Netflix version of it, and it's actually really good.
Oh,
I'm
it's a
gonna check
horror
it out.
comedy. I'll watch it.
It's horror comedy, and it's about time travel. You'd have fun with it, I think.
I would.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
I would watch
yeah,
that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check it out. Yeah.
You'll have to tell me what you think. Yeah, Kieran Shipka, or I think that's how you say it.
Something like that,
Shipka?
yeah. Heck yeah, I'm down to watch that.
All right. Last what if. What if humanity discovered conclusive evidence that we are living in a simulated reality meticulously crafted by an advanced civilization?
Ooh.
How would this revelation impact our understanding of existence, morality, and the pursuit of knowledge? And what actions might we take in response to this revelation?
Well, there are conspiracy theories out there that we
They
are living
believe
in a
that,
simulation.
in a sense, yeah.
I actually know people that truly believe that Carlos, he believes
That we're
in a simulation. And I feel like that would completely wreck religion.
Number one, religion will be gone. Yeah.
I feel like, but then again, there's still, it doesn't matter what happens on Earth. There's always going to be people who don't believe something when there's facts presented. Like that's just a fact. Like there's people who don't believe we land on the moon. There's people who believe that gravity doesn't exist. People believe that, there isn't such thing as space. Like, are you kidding me?
There's people that believe that the Holocaust didn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, ridiculous. So I feel like it would completely dismantle a lot of things. Belief systems, history books, because then you start thinking, okay, well, if everything is crafted by this other world or other beings or whatever, then does that mean Scientology is somewhat real? Does that mean that we don't have free will? There's a lot. That's a really good question.
There'll be a big time revolution too. Against whoever they are.
Yes, they would. I feel like,
there will be a different revolt.
Humanity would try to figure out who are these beings and how can we get rid of them, because we're such an independent society.
Right.
That's crazy.
Well, and I think like what you said is so true. Like there's a lot of people, like a big percentage of the population, that will not believe facts no matter what evidence is presented to them. Like there's literally people out there that believe Trump when he said he was 6'3" and 215 pounds. Like that man is not 215 pounds. He's not 6'3". Like, come on.
Yeah. It's like right. He can stand in front of you and they would still be like, well, let me bend this ruler back.
Yeah. So true.
That's true. Wow.
But that would be scary to wake up to that, right? Like, and just be like, this is all fake. Like someone is in control of everything that's happening.
Like the Truman Show.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's creepy.
Somebody's watching.
That would be really creepy, but hopefully that's not the case. I mean, really, what can you do about it? Like obviously government officials would try to do something and blow them up or something, but like as individuals, you can't really do anything. Just go about your day, and then if something bad happens, blame it on the aliens.
Yeah.
Or blame whoever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But how do you get out from that, right? Like, because at that point you start to question, are all my thoughts and actions implanted, or am I genuinely have free will to make these thoughts and these actions in my daily life? Like, and how do you break away from that?
I don't think you could at that point. I don't think you could. And what was that show? What was that show? Where the people like went to sleep and they were like at work and then they woke up and they were home?
Severance.
Have
you seen that show?
No, what is that on?
It's good. I think it's on Apple, right? Apple
I don't
TV.
know.
Okay. Is it the M. Night Shyamalan one?
No,
It's a thriller
it's actually Ben
series.
Stiller. Ben Stiller produced it, and it's
Really?
really good, man. It's really good. It's about like
Yeah, it's on Apple.
yeah, it's like a psychological thriller kind of show. It's really good. It's about how you can like
It's
split between your work and your home life, and like you have to have some operation on your brain where it automatically shuts off. So whenever you go into work, you forget everything that happens at home, right?
Wow.
And then it's vice versa. So then they're trying to figure out like so each personality, each person, each worker is trying to figure out, well, I wonder what my my home life is, and vice versa. Man, I wonder what my work life is, So it's kind of like
Right.
it's a really good show, man. You should definitely check it
It
out.
has Adam Scott and Patricia Arquette in it,
Oh, wow,
and
okay.
John Turturro.
John Turturro's in it, yeah.
So it's a really good Yeah, it says Mark leads a team of office workers whose memories have been surgically divided between their work and their personal lives.
Wow.
When a mysterious colleague appears outside of work, it begins a journey to discover the truth about their jobs.
Oh shit.
It's called Severance, man. You gotta check it out. Google
Yeah,
it.
I'm definitely gonna check it out. That sounds pretty badass.
It is badass. I highly recommend it. It's got like 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Because
really
eventually, like, one of them finds out,
Yeah.
like, well, I saw you at work, but what?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. And so it's kind of like that distinction of why can't I think like, yeah. So it's kind of interesting.
It's really interesting. It's a really good show.
It makes me think of that Netflix, the series Black Mirror.
Mhm.
There's that
Correct.
the new season had that first episode. I can't remember what her name was, and like she was living her life but watching a Netflix show about her.
Oh
life.
yeah, and Salma Hayek was there, right? Salma
Yes, yeah.
That's
That
my
was
woman, by the way. I
Yeah,
love
he
Salma.
loves her.
Yeah. She's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's the I forgot the name of the episode, but yeah, I remember. It's a really good show.
Yeah.
Really good show.
Mhm.
Yeah, because like she was pretending she was acting as her, and then it was her acting as. Like, it was just like so confusing, but it made sense like at the end of it all.
And then at the end, it's like what it's like whoa, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's I feel like there's a lot of good content that's like really pushing like this like what if idea of like what happens if these things were real, and we challenge like what we've believed for so long. Like I think it's the CW has a show. It just ended, but it's called The Swarm, and it's about like how an alien species in the ocean like is attacking humanity because like the balance of like nature is off, and so like these creatures like that they don't have no understanding for are just like driving other sea creatures mad and like doing things to attack humanity. So it's pretty interesting.
That's
Sounds
cool.
cool. I'm gonna have to look that one up too.
Yeah.
Swarm.
Yeah, it's free on their app, the CW
yeah.
app. I heard.
Oh yeah, I love anything alien.
That is cool.
Like
yeah.
I ask him, I've always been obsessed with aliens. Like that new movie that came out did not scare me one little bit. What was it?
No One Will Save Us.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I never seen it.
I liked it. So have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, so to me, it felt like the little girl from Signs grew up and the aliens came back. That's what it reminded me of.
That's actually a really good like view on it, because I liked it. I thought the alien, like obviously it was like a little exaggerated for Hollywood or whatever,
Yeah.
and like, but like I thought the fight scene with the alien really terrified me, because that would be exactly what I would fear, is that.
Yeah.
But like it was well done. It was interesting that there was like 3 words said throughout the whole movie, but I did not like the end because I felt like it really just like it made like, I don't know, it just didn't make sense to me. Like,
I agree.
why? And it was just kind of like dumb. I'm like, you could have left the end out and it would have been like a perfect movie.
I think so too. Like, I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I liked it. But everyone was like, this is the scariest alien movie ever made. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, let's go. And I was like, I didn't watch it. Rolando, I think he was out with friends.
Yeah.
And I was texting him and I was like, I'm me who gets scared at like the drop of a pin. I'm like, this isn't scary at all. But I liked it a lot just based on, like, there are a few scenes that like creeped me out.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like the part where she's in, I think it was like a garage or something, and she's sitting under the table and she turns around and the alien was like right there. And I was like, oh. But and then the part where they make her levitate and stuff, I was like, no.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really liked it, but yeah, the ending was weird. I don't want to give it away for people who
No.
haven't seen it or
No.
whatever, but I actually Googled it because I was like, okay, I think I know what it means, but when I read it, I was like, oh, okay. I think they did that because maybe they're gonna make another one. That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay.
Like maybe they're gonna do a sequel somehow, but it was still just weird.
Yeah. I definitely think I need to Google it because I never Googled it. I just thought it was dumb. And I was just like, that ending really just ruined it for me. But I do think there's a lot of good ones, you know. Is there a super scary alien one? I would say like, what is that called? The Fourth Kind was pretty intense.
That's it. That's the one that scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. The Fourth Kind was intense. And I actually need to get my husband to watch it because he still hasn't seen it. But like
Oh man.
I think
that
the
one
music,
and
right?
Signs. When I was a kid, Signs just
That's my favorite alien movie of all time. Like people make fun of me for it, and I'm like, but it's so good.
It's very suspenseful.
It
the
is.
drop,
And it has humor in it, which
it's got humor and it's very suspenseful. You know, kind of like the whole secluded, like the whole house, like you know, the cornfield, like you know, it adds a different dimension to it, like kind of being alone, you know, but not. And it's really dark, like the way it's shot.
Yeah.
It's really good. I like the music too, by the way.
Yeah, the music is good.
That's one of my favorite things in movies is music.
Mm-hmm.
See, I like the two scenes that just stand out for me is where the alien walks by at the birthday party, and then like the claws under the hands under the
yeah.
No.
Yeah, that freaked me out the first time too. And like whenever you see the foot turn in the cornfield, I was like, oh my gosh, with the flashlight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
We always joke about the birthday party because he goes, it's behind like all the time. Like out of nowhere.
Yeah, every time I like there's something behind her, I always say that. I always say it like that. It's behind, you know, like little kids.
Like
you
the
know?
little kids said it in the movie.
Yeah, I think it's like Brazil or somewhere that we're at.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right, so let's jump into what y'all do. So tell me in 3 words what paranormal means to you.
Discovering the unknown.
Unexplained. I would say unexplained.
There you go.
Not normal.
Discovering the unknown. Or the unexplained. Discovering the unexplained.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. What area of paranormal do you like? Because it's an umbrella, right? So, like, what area do you specialize, or like, what, like, your organization? What do y'all focus on?
We definitely focus on ghost hunting, spirits in general. There is a difference between ghosts and spirits. And yeah, so we actually are going to Waverly Hills. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a sanatorium in Kentucky. We're going there in 2 weeks. And there's actually an episode of Ghost Hunters. Rolando and I don't like ghost adventures. Some of the people in our group does, and that's fine. You're welcome to like what you like, but we personally don't like ghost adventures. We feel like Ghost Hunters is more real
what we do
and what we do because we try to debunk things.
Yeah.
And if there's anything left, then there's evidence of something that could be paranormal.
So we always kind of look at it from that angle. Like, yeah, you know, it's cool to capture stuff that's not, you know, that's paranormal. But like, I'm like the skeptic of the group. So, I mean, we do have more skeptics, but I'm kind of like the main one. But we always try to debunk what we see or, you know, what we hear or we capture first and foremost. You know, we don't always, like a lot of these shows, they always go towards being paranormal. That's the first thing they do, and we don't do that.
Yeah.
Right. So what led to y'all like diving into the field of paranormal?
So for me personally, I had my first experience when I was 3 years old. My grandfather had passed away, and the day after he passed away, I was up on the bathroom counter, and my mom came in. And I was talking to my grandpa, and she's like, who are you talking to? And I'm like, talking to grandpa. And I pointed up into the ceiling. And she's like, honey, grandpa went to heaven yesterday. I'm like, I know, but he's right there. And she's like, how'd you get up on the counter? I'm like, grandpa put me here so we could talk. Ooh. And so since then, and then I've had like numerous paranormal experiences my whole life. I feel like stuff has kind of been around me. And so I just have always been fascinated by it and trying to get answers as to what it is or what it's not. because of my own experiences.
And I'm just, she was into that. I like horror movies, and all that stuff. So I was always wanted to actually, support her, number one. And then just kind of slowly, but always kind of like, well, maybe it's this and not that, like, that's a bunch of BS. This, so basically she got me into it, and
and you've had your own experiences too, though.
A couple experiences back home in Mexico. I had a couple experiences, unexplained, but for the most part, it's mainly you had a lot more, and I'm just there for support, basically, and being the skeptic of the group, trying to debunk things.
So I guess help me, Rolando, because you sound like you said you're the more skeptic about it. Because I'm like you. I'm like, I haven't experienced anything. I don't not believe in it, but again, like also I haven't seen it. And then my husband's just like, he's atheist. He doesn't believe in it. He's like, there's ways you could explain everything. And I'm also a substance use therapist. So I'm like, possessions and all that, like there's sometimes explanations, but people, like especially religious people, I feel like tend to lean into that was the demon, that was the devil, and it's like, okay, but let's look at it from a different lens. So help me become more of a believer in Rolando. Like what was that for you that made you go like, oh shit, this may be something real?
Well, I don't know if you're willing to do that, but I mean, I've been in several investigations, and I've actually, one of the first experiences that I've had, and we were investigating an old rundown house, Haynes house in Hominy. And I remember having a coat on, and it was kind of cold that night, and we're investigating the house. We're walking to the kitchen, and I had an EVP recorder, which is a voice recorder, right? That's all it is. So what we do is we record everywhere we go, we basically sync all our equipment, name who's there with us, and all this. That way, whatever voices you hear that is not us, that it's not. It could be something else. So paranormal or otherwise, So you always basically, before investigation, you check everything, make sure there's nobody living there, or or anything like that, no kids around, or dogs barking, whatever. So we're walking through it, and all of a sudden I feel like this cold air, like big mass of air just go right through my chest. And then I say, hey, I got a really cold chill that just went through me, and I just said that just on the recorder. So anyway, just kept investigating, we heard a couple of things, whatever. So on the way back to the house, I was like, I'm gonna listen to my recorder real quick, and I'm listening to it. And right when I said that, like a second later, you can hear a little girl say, what it sounds to me, she says, let her be still. And it's clear as day. It's a little girl. And like, so that experience alone is what made me think, wow, this is like, okay, there was no girls with us that night. Like, I mean, this is like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I felt it, I basically felt her go right through me. So that was one of the earliest experience, like one of the most creepiest experiences that I've had. And then we actually had stuff thrown at us before,
Brown Mansion.
Yeah, we heard audible. We were investigating on the basement, and it sounded like there was a woman walking with high heels on like board, basically like floorboards.
Hardwood floored.
Yeah, hardwood floors, but nothing. The floor, there was no floors that had it. They were all carpeted. So this is like a phantom residual sound, which is basically what it was. So there's a bunch of stuff like that that's really unexplained. That I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm a skeptic, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go the scientific way every time to try to explain things, but some of these things, man, you just can't explain. You just can't. You can try to debunk it however you want, but like the like the little girl, like the spirit, going right through me. There's no way that I can recreate that. No one can.
Right.
So that's basically how I started to become kind of like you. I'm like, hey, well, I have an open mind about it, but like, I want to see something. I want to, feel something. And, I haven't really I haven't seen anything yet, but I can tell you this: I've definitely felt them for sure. I have.
Interesting. Wow. That, yeah. So, and I think I would be open to going on an investigation. I did one at Fort Reno. It was kind of like some kind of investigation like several years ago, but it was more like a retelling of the history there. What is y'all's go-to favorite like equipment that you must have when you're on a investigation?
EVP recorder. If there's one thing that I want us to have, it's a EVP recorder, which stands for electronic voice phenomenon. It's basically just like you said, like a tape recorder.
Yeah,
it's digital recorder. Because if you're gonna get any feedback or voices on that, that's the best thing to have. Because you can determine, okay, well, it was Rolando and me in this room, and we heard another male or another female, and we know there wasn't anybody there. Then we can, say, okay, well, that could be something paranormal, or hey, was there a radio on? Like, but yeah, definitely the EVP recorder is the best one, I think.
Yeah, and I think your husband would probably say, like, I've heard a lot of people. The reason why I say your husband, because he's a big, he doesn't believe in it like at all. I heard a lot of skeptics say, well, man, that could be just radio waves you're picking up on your equipment, right? That's their favorite go-to. Yeah, dude, but like these replies, some of the replies they're replying to what we're saying. Okay. There is no way that a radio is going to do that. I mean, they're just not, So there's a lot of different things, that it just doesn't add up. So when we do EVP sessions, that's what we call them. We just basically sit down quiet and we ask questions and then expecting some replies. And you get those replies.
Sometimes you do.
One of the, we have them on our website. We have a website and it has all the EVPs that we've gotten everywhere and basically everything we've gotten so far. Well, one of my favorite ones is whenever we went to the bathroom and you can hear little kids saying, we said something like, I gotta pee, get out of the room or something that.
Yeah, it says, I gotta piss, please get out of the room.
Yeah. Telling us to leave because they gotta piss. Yeah. And there was no kids there. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's no way that that's gonna come through the radio waves.
Right.
It's just no way. It doesn't add up.
And then one of my favorite ones was we were at this newly built house, brand new house. The family had only been there for a couple of years. And they called us in because the daughters were scared. And so kids always take priority to us. We want to make sure kids feel safe in their own house. And so they had a bunch of antiques in the house. And I was like, okay, so a lot of the activity was in one of the daughters' rooms. And I said, well, do you have any antiques in here? And she said, well, yeah, there's some dolls in the closet. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to use them as what we call a trigger item. And so I got the dolls out. And I was like, we're recording and I get the dolls out. I'm like, I'm playing with your dolls. And then when we played back the EVP recorder and the video, you could hear a woman's voice say, do not touch them.
Yeah.
Clear as day.
Clear as day, man.
And so
that is definitely my second favorite EVP because that basically is directly replying to you. Say, hey, don't touch those dolls.
Yeah. And when we played it to the owner, she was like, that's my aunt's voice. Those were her dolls.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So that's what I mean by the paranormal. Like you can't explain that. I mean, there's just no way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that house, you're right. That house was, if you walk into this house, you're like, there's no way this is haunted. Like it's a brand new house.
Yeah.
Everything is brand new furnished. I mean, it was a really nice house, but they had antiques.
Which can have
attachments, correct.
Wow. So what equipment would you say that is like usually used on like shows or, in the mainstream that for you is like, that is BS, that does not really work, like it's just for show, or is there not anything?
Question.
They don't use them so much anymore, but some of the apps on phones like that are like have like the word banks in them, those are a load of crap.
Like the ghost apps, they have ghost apps in there too. Those probably
yeah, the ones that are like, oh, it said death. It's like you're in an investigation. Like, come on. Or it said toilet. I walked by a toilet 10 minutes ago. Okay, I don't know. I just think those word bank ones are.
The only one that I kind of this is me personally. I don't know about Amanda feels, but this is how I feel. Is I don't really trust the spirit boxes that much.
I was gonna ask that because that's a common one, like on TV.
Yeah, because those like I was alluding to that earlier, talking about EVP sessions. Those actually use radio waves, like radio stations, right? So basically it's like it just goes from whether it's AM or FM. So it just goes through all these stations really fast, depending how speed you want it, and you ask questions, and then you get replies, right? But those can actually be people talking on the radio station.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll actually hear like a song come through, like a snippet of it. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I know that Backstreet Boy song.
That's what I mean. So it's kind of like so that's what I mean.
yeah.
It's kind of like I don't really trust those. That's like my least favorite item to me.
I try not to rely on them. Like we'll use them every once in a while, but we don't really get a whole lot of results because it's all like, oh, this is what it sounded like, but someone else might hear it a different way. So
Right.
I don't think they're complete BS, but I think they're not as reliable as a lot of people rely on them for lack of better terms. So yeah, we don't use them a whole lot.
What's a big misconception that is out there in like about paranormal, the world, and just like paranormal investigators? Like what is something you're just like, ugh, that annoys me, I need to set the record straight?
That it's demonic.
Okay.
Like we get that a lot. Like
a lot.
And I'm not trying to like talk shit or whatever, but we get it a lot from like super Christians. And I hate to say that because I believe in God personally and all that, but like we literally had a lady tell us, I'm not gonna mention names, but she was like, she was like, you're dealing with the devil. And I'm like, okay, I've been doing this for 23 years and have never come across something demonic ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And I've been into some crazy places. And then she told me that, well, there's no such thing as ghosts in the Bible. I'm like, really? Because it says the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Not only that, but Jesus rose from the dead and came back to his disciples for 3 days as a spirit. And she just stopped talking. So, and like, I mean, it's subjective, I know, but it really bothers me when people think that it's like the devil's work or demonic or evil. And I'm like, no, we did like this is a hobby of ours. We don't get paid to do this. We do it as a free service to the community. And
it's a hobby, basically.
It's a hobby, but we take it seriously. And people just automatically think that because we're doing this, that we're either demonic, evil, or we're faking it. We personally don't do that kind of stuff. I know there's other groups out there that might do things, especially like some of the TV shows out there, but we do take it very seriously. We run it like an actual business.
Yeah. We do. To me, I think it's not so much what I want to set the record straight, but I feel like a lot of it is kind of tainted, a lot of the evidence, because a lot of people like fake stuff, and they put it out there on YouTube or whatever, or like TikTok, and it's fake, and the type of stuff, type of work that we do, our hobby, it gets tainted by that, So whenever we put something out there, they're gonna be like, oh, well, that's fake too, So when it's not, it's actual legit stuff.
Yeah, if people only knew like the amount of scrutiny that we put our own evidence under. Before we put it out there, because if we feel like it's real, we're gonna put it out there. If we don't, if there's any kind of questionable, we won't at all. Because if we can, if the general public can disprove it, then that looks bad. Now, granted, there's always going to be skeptics no matter what you put out there. But if we have put it out there, I guarantee we feel like it's 100% authentic.
We've have, and on our website, there's a lot of evidence that we've had for all the investigations we've had. I mean, and that's 100% legit evidence.
Yeah.
Wow. So, you said that you haven't come across anything demonic, but do you believe that there are demonic entities out there that can potentially exist within the realm of spirits and all that?
I believe there is, yes. Especially like when it comes to demonic spirits, like somebody who was evil whenever they're alive. That's what that's
like
how
an
I
actual
perceive
demon.
it. Not like an actual demon, but who knows? I mean, maybe that person was, you can relate it however you want to relate it. I'm just saying, like, somebody who was really evil in real life can potentially be a demon. I mean, because the normal person's not gonna do stuff like that. I'm talking about like serial killers,
Yeah.
Violent crimes.
violent
Right.
people, that committed violent crimes. I
Right.
think those are the ones that you could potentially become, around a demonic presence.
I don't know that there are demons because I haven't come across one.
Okay.
People could be like, well, you've never seen God and you believe in God, but that's a different story. But I think like that I have come across like evil type spirits, but I don't know if it's a demon per se. So yeah, I don't know. That's something to be determined.
So
I
do you feel like y'all are at risk when you do these investigations, opening yourself up to these spaces, or like do you feel pretty protected? Like how does that work?
Some places more than others, definitely. I have been in a situation, I don't want to say I was possessed because that like just sounds crazy even to me, but I saw, okay, so we were at this school of all places, and I just kind of like got like numb is the best way I can describe it. And I felt this like coldness come over my whole body, and I just kind of slumped into this desk chair. And all of a sudden I said out loud, I don't care. And everyone looked over me like, huh? But I had a vision, and this lady, she told me her name was Cassandra, and I saw like a shotgun pointed at her. And so like to me, it was this spirit like telling me that her husband shot her. Like that's like the best way I can describe it. Like I wasn't possessed. I wasn't like acting like this person or whatever, but it was so weird. And like I cried for like at least an hour after that because I was so scared. And nothing like that has ever happened before. I don't know if I was just like getting into my own head. I don't know if it was a spirit that was showing me these things or what, but it was very bizarre, and I'm glad it's never happened again. So as far as like at risk, if that were to ever happen again, I would like definitely pay more attention because it was so random and weird. Like I said, I don't know if it was like, honestly, was it a psychotic episode? Heck, I don't know, but it was very weird. But other than that, like, I mean, I've been scratched before. We've had other members that have been scratched before.
So technically, yeah. I mean, I would say, yeah, in this kind of work, I think you are exposed to some of those things. Do they happen a lot of times to us? No. We've been doing this for almost 20 years.
23.
23.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and it's only like happened like 3 times.
Yeah. So it can happen, depending where you go, I guess you can say. But I would say, yeah, I would say you're definitely exposed for sure.
Interesting. Okay, so do y'all feel like prayer is something you use in those moments you may feel scared, or that you may feel like, okay, this is really becoming something really intense?
Yeah. Sometimes we'll do like a group prayer before, and even people who don't believe, they appreciate at least the like thought of it, and we always ask permission, like, hey, if you want to partake in this, you can. If not, step away. We've never had anybody that's like step away, and we don't do it all the time, but if it's like a big place, like we'll probably do it at Waverly just because it's a place that we've never been. But we'll say like a little prayer or like a little, saying of protection, I guess you could say. And yeah, we definitely do. And then if we ever are in a situation during an investigation where we're feeling uncomfortable, we will literally just like walk outside and just kind of remove ourselves from that situation and kind of take like a breather.
Yeah.
What about your team members that aren't religious? What do they lean on in those moments of like fear or, needing just like extra strength?
What do you think? I mean, they trust us as leaders of the group. They know that if there's something that's happening, that we can pull them out of that situation. Because we have dealt with some craziness, and if there's ever a time that they're scared, we know to recognize that, and we can tell them like, hey, let's take a break, let's go outside, let's have a snack or drink or whatever, and come back to the situation and kind of dissolve that feeling. Because we definitely don't want to be scared. It does happen. Like it's not as common as it used to be. just because we've done this for so long. But especially with some of the newer people, like I kind of said, they, even if they don't believe, they appreciate the action or the thought of us caring enough to try to protect us. And I think that also kind of just like helps calm them too, if it comes to it.
Right. What would you say has been one of the most intense situations you've experienced that kind of just really got to you the most?
For me personally was we were investigating the Brown Mansion a few years ago in Kansas, and we had a screwdriver. Jeff, one of the other co-founders, we were walking together and we had a screwdriver thrown at us. And
Wow.
and I was like, what the heck just happened? Like, I wasn't scared really, but it was like that happened. There's no doubt in my mind that something paranormal happened. Like I knew, because nothing could throw a freaking screwdriver like 20 feet.
Right.
And but I want to say like one of the scariest, one of the scariest times was actually the water treatment plant. It was so dark, and I was very new to the paranormal world, and I didn't know what to expect. But
I think for me, I mean, as far as like stuff being intense and being scared, I mean, it was really intense for me. I normally don't get scared, but I will say Hisson was probably the most wicked.
Oh man,
the most wicked, like haunting, like place that I've ever stepped foot in.
Yeah, you're right. I should have said that instead of the water treatment plant.
Hisson was it was closed down because it was a mental hospital.
It was a it was a mental hospital for children.
There was a lot of stuff, bad stuff going on. And
it was closed in the 80s.
Abuse and a bunch of stuff like that, like horrible stuff. So there was a lot of bad residual energy in there, a lot of bad stuff happened.
They had like 30 buildings on the property.
Yeah, it was just really dark, and a hospital, the way it looks, and it's just like we've caught like the dark shadow, or the picture of the dark shadow of the kid. A lot of noises. I mean, it was
that place.
It was pretty gnarly, man.
Wow, that would be scary for sure. What could someone do if they're interested in joining or like learning or going more into this world do?
Who's interested in learning or I mean, there's a bunch of groups out there.
Get involved with your local group, ask questions. Yeah. We have people that reach out to us all the time. We can't always accept new investigators, but we're always willing to help teach and stuff like that. But honestly, like if you watch the older episodes of Ghost Hunters, that's kind of like my go-to quote unquote ghost Bible, I guess you could say, because what they do is exactly what we do.
Yeah.
And
yeah, even from the setup, how they set it up.
Yeah.
They do a preliminary with the people that own it, or whatever it is, business, home, whatever. Figure out where the hotspots are, the most activities at, that way they can set up their DVR cameras and stuff around there. Everything is basically like she said, is basically like the agenda.
And there's lots of books out there about, how to investigate the difference between different spirits. Also learn about local area or local spots in your area that could be haunted. Sometimes even going there and doing a tour and asking questions, you can get more information too. Like, oh yeah, we had this group come in, or this is what we've experienced. So kind of that firsthand knowledge is really what it's going to take.
Yes.
So y'all don't like just take on like volunteers or someone interested in like joining an investigation?
We have. It just really depends on when we do an investigation, because we're not always available all the time as much as we'd like to be, but adulting.
And how big the building or how big the location is, if we need more members to investigate it, that kind of thing.
We'll have like, hey, Waverly, we have people who are not in our group that are going because we need at least 10 people. And so, there's like 7 of us. So we had some extra people that are coming out to investigate, but we always have to make sure that they're trained beforehand. They know how to do an investigation, what to expect. Don't run.
Don't run. Yeah.
But yeah, so we do on occasion, if someone is like, hey, we really want to go on an investigation, we kind of like feel them out, make sure they're not just going to be immature drunks, for lack of better term. I mean, really, because
you can't be drinking.
we do take it seriously.
Yeah.
So
what is your dream place to investigate that you haven't had a chance to investigate?
Waverly, which we're going to. So that or like a castle in
Castle.
Ireland.
I mean, the castle. I mean, to me, there'll definitely be castles for me, man. I'm like the old continent, Europe, like anywhere over there, like the old. We were lucky. We went to Scotland for an anniversary one year, and we went to England, and I mean those places over there are just amazing, man. They got so much history. I mean, they've been those buildings been standing there for hundreds of years, So something like that for me will be ideal to investigate for sure.
Yeah,
that'd be the top for me. Castles.
Okay.
Do you
for a new place to investigate? Do you have to know that there's like been loss or death in that place?
Not necessarily. I mean, not necessarily. I mean,
not for me. Because if you look at Slick, we investigated this church in Slick, Oklahoma, middle of nowhere, and we had some of the best evidence we've ever caught, and like nothing has ever really happened there.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah. The church.
What led you to choose that place?
So we were on abandonedoklahoma.com, I think, or whatever it is.
Well, and prospecting, really.
Yeah, prospecting
we do prospecting too. We go to like little towns that we can prospect, see what kind of, check them out, see if we can investigate them.
Yeah, and there was something there that we saw that was like, oh, we want to check that out.
The school.
Yeah, and so we drove out there, and we drove out to the school just to go look during the day. We do our prospecting during the day so we don't get in trouble. And one of the townspeople was like, oh, yeah, this is the guy who owns it. Here's his number. You should call him. And so we ended up talking to him. And they had like a town hall meeting. And they were like, well, we don't feel comfortable with you investigating the school because it's so dilapidated. And I was like, well, what about your town hall, which is the church? It was the train depot. It was all this other stuff. And they were like, oh, yeah, that would be cool. So like just on a whim, we went out there and it was really cool.
Yeah, we didn't think anything of it. I mean, it's just an old building. I mean, it's been there for 100 years. So we're like, okay.
Right.
Just because it's an old building, more than likely there's more. That's a stigma that comes with it, right? But nothing. I mean, nothing that I'm aware. Nobody died in there, and we caught really good evidence. Wow. So, but I mean, I guess to answer your question, I think it does help. I mean, to me, it does help if somebody, if something happened, So,
have y'all ever thought of going to like Mexico and doing anything out there?
I want to go to the island of the dolls.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from there. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go visit my parents next month. But Mexico City, like around there, the Estado de Mexico will be kind of cool. There's a lot of cool things there. A lot of history, a lot of historic stuff.
I would love to.
And a lot of we're religious people, so a lot of sacred stuff there. Well, my hometown it's too hot for her. I'm from Guerrero. It's tierra caliente. It's hot, man. So she would never go there because it's too hot for her. But
yeah, but as far as investigating, like I would love to.
Mexico City would be cool because it's not that hot. It's like, it's elevation. It's like but yeah, that would be cool to check out some spots down there for sure.
Yeah, the closest that I've gone to, well, like I said, I had told you about that investigation, but I also went to the Winchester Mystery House. It was just like
San Diego? Yeah.
No, San Jose.
San Jose.
Okay, I thought it was San Diego.
Santa Clara, I guess it is, but it's the vibe in there fell off. Like something, you could tell something fell off, but that's like the closest that I've had to like any experience is just like feeling something, like a presence, but not like really anything else. Like I used to work at an old nursing home that turned into a treatment center, and like the participants would tell me about like the kids would always see like these spirits in the ceiling or and like talk to them, and then like after we had that conversation that day I was driving home and it was like I could feel like something was like following me, so I was like terrified, like I didn't want to look in my rearview mirror. It just like felt like a presence. So yeah, but I mean I definitely I would like to like I think there's like a local one in Oklahoma that does like they do like a guided investigation.
That's Pitt.
You said what?
Pitt, paranormal investigation team of Tulsa, I think. Unless you're in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, yeah.
Okay, then it's probably Eau Capri.
Eau Capri,
and they're really great. We love them. We love Pitt. We love all the groups around here. We don't have any beef with each other, which is really nice.
Okay, I'll have to look. Make
Eau
sure
Capri is really awesome.
Eau Capri. What does that stand for?
Oklahoma Paranormal Research something.
Something that rather.
I don't remember. I'm a bad investigator. I don't know.
Something like that.
But they're wonderful people.
Well,
we've met them before.
We are going to wrap that up. I have one last game. It's going to require you to get a little out of your comfort zone. So,
okay.
Let me pull it up real quick. Let's see.
Hi, Calypso.
That is so cute. I saw a tail. I was like, oh, is that a snake?
Yeah, no,
She's my cat.
It's her cat. She's an old.
She just loves attention, especially when we're doing something and she can't participate.
Yeah, she wants to.
That's how it always goes. All right. So this game is called Song Association. So I'm going to give you a word, and you have 15 seconds to sing a song that uses that word in it.
All right. Okay.
So you both can be on one team. So if like one of you doesn't have it, then the other can do it, or you can both do it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So and bonus, it can be in English or Spanish.
Ooh,
If the word is in it. So the word has to be in it.
Okay.
So, all right. The first word is love. 15 seconds for love. Go.
I'll make love to you like you want me to, and I hold you tight, baby, all through the night.
Perfect. You got that.
You're a nerd.
Who sings that song?
Voice to Man.
Good job. All right. The second word is baby. 15 seconds for baby.
Baby. Oh! Which I don't. Those are the only lyrics I know. So I'm sorry.
Listen, that was enough. I knew exactly what that was. All right. Third word is heart. 15 seconds for heart. Go.
Oh my gosh.
Heart.
Oh my gosh.
My heart will go on. Whatever that song is.
Yeah.
Is that it? But that's Celine Dion, right?
Yeah. Titanic.
I can't sing it, man. I can't get that high.
You got it. The Titanic. That would be a good investigation. Is the Titanic?
Oh my god. Yeah.
Although I don't want to end up like the searching crew, though, man.
Yeah. No.
It's so sad. Oh man.
I know. All right. The next word is tonight. 15 seconds for tonight. Go.
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night.
Yeah.
I was gonna do Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Oh, that'd be a good one too.
Yeah.
That's a good one too. Double. All right. The fifth word is yeah. 15 seconds for yeah. Go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's like his whole catalog right there. Good job.
I was gonna do the Usher song.
Yeah.
Which one?
Above me saying yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I thought
That's
he's
it.
supposed to be performing at the Super Bowl, so I'm kind of curious.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is. Right.
Yeah. All right.
In Vegas.
In Vegas? Oh wow. The next word is O. 15 seconds for O. Go.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. I know there's like a million of them. Oh, I don't know.
But we got back. No, that doesn't have O in it.
I don't know. I'm drawing a blank.
Time.
Oh, bummer.
I don't know that one.
That one's a hard one, but
there's got to be like a million songs, and people are probably listening to this yelling at us, like, "Oh my god!"
Sierra's song is O. That one is one of them. It just goes oh, you know. All right. Next one is girl. 15 seconds. Go.
Isn't there a Spice Girls song? Is girl in it?
Girl.
If you want to be mine. No, that's Lover.
No, that's Lover.
Oh my gosh, girl. Jesse's girl.
There
Yes.
you go. That's a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Job.
Jesse's.
All right. Next one is boy. 15 seconds for boy. Go.
That boy is
Oh
mine.
wow,
Okay,
Monica.
wow.
Remember that
Classic.
one? Remember that one? Monica and Brandy.
Brandy.
I was like,
right.
are you even old enough to know that song?
Yeah.
Next one is dance. 15 seconds for dance. Go.
I want to dance. I want to boogie. I don't know who sings that, but it was in Napoleon Dynamite. It was like some electronic song he was listening to.
Baila, baila esta cumbia, un
There
grito, grito sin igual.
There you go.
Selena, come
Love
on.
it. Love it.
There you
All
go.
right. Final word is beautiful. 15 seconds. Go.
She's beautiful. She's beautiful. I know. Or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all killed it. So
We only missed
9 out of 10, but there were several that you both gave one. So I'm just give you 10 out of 10. Good job.
Yay.
Oh,
High five.
Job. Y'all killed it.
paranormal team.
Yeah, paranormal team all day. All right. Well, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me and just letting us know a little bit more about the paranormal world. Listeners, please make sure to check out Tops's social media, and I'll let y'all plug that. Where can they find you, and how can they keep up with anything,
Yeah,
everything paranormal?
We're
that you
on
do?
social media at Tulsa Paranormal. And that's I think that's Instagram. Facebook might be Tulsa Oklahoma Paranormal Studies, or it's just Tulsa Paranormal. It's one of the other.
I think it is Tulsa
we
Paranormal.
and then Tulsa Paranormal, I think, also on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Listeners, please get on there, follow them, keep up with all the content that they keep putting out. If you
and
have not rated, subscribe to this podcast, please give us a 5-star rating. If you do not, then maybe some entity will come and haunt you, and their Tops will have to come and investigate.
Yeah.
So you don't want
You don't
that.
want that.
Please follow us on social media. If you want to send an email, it's givingwhatif@gmail.com. And it was a pleasure having y'all on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
It's giving what if.